Hi, hello. Oh man, what a day. I'm gonna get right into it because it's a hot topic and it makes me hot. This topic of anti-Asian racism, and particularly what it's been doing with Andrew Yang's campaign. So this morning, CNBC released a graphic on one of their shows that um, had all the candidates and their Q4 contributions up, and they replaced the picture of Andrew Yang and both Tulsi Gabbard, who is both a Asian American Pacific Islander, replaced them with people that are not them. Um, Andrew Yang was replaced with random Asian man who doesn't look like him, and then Tulsi with actually a white woman. So we need to get real. Like, a lot of people are saying this is establishment bias, but no. Like, the level of malignancy that they're doing this with is not something they get away with doing a white person. Like, let's say, Bernie Sanders is anti-establishment, and the media does fuck around with him. But they wouldn't get away with changing his picture. Like, and at this point, let's face, like, we know the people at CNBC have to know who Andrew Yang is and Tulsi Gabbard is by their face. So the idea that there can be two mistakes like that out there, even if there's a small smidgen of that is just a mistake that they made, like, or kind of like it's an anti-establishment mistake that they made, it's still completely malignant. Like, the very foundation of anti-Asian racism is that the media doesn't represent us, so people don't know who we are. Like, basically, we're not part of the storyline of humanity in America, essentially. And also, when I say America, including North America, I live in Canada, but it's pretty much the same up here, right? In terms of that, so there's that, and then people don't care. So people don't see us, don't know what we look like, don't know that we're human beings, and they don't care. That's the two dynamics in anti-Asian racism that really works. And I'm gonna say that this has to be called out from the top to the bottom. So Andrew Yang and his campaign himself, I'm not satisfied with the response. This is not a laughing matter because, you know, yeah, like, if Andrew Yang is not willing to stand up for racism that comes towards him, how do other people of color and other marginalized people trust that he would stand up for them when they are being affected? So this is a fundamental trust issue, and I believe the campaign needs to take it more seriously, right? Because all the efforts the Yang Gang are putting in, regardless of we like identity politics or not, like, some of us don't. I'm actually like kind of like pretty like, I know there's like forms of identity politics that I'm not into, but all that's being a lot of effort is being sucked out of their campaign because of anti-Asian racism. And I believe without calling that out, without at the top, this campaign will fall short. And this is actually a really, really critical piece, to be honest, because it holds like the foundational emotional support. I think will really be bolstered by really calling that out, but also at the same time, without calling it out, I think, it's just like we're not going to get the mileage, and Andrew Yang's campaign needs all the mileage. And so the Yang Gang, I think we need to be upset, everybody, basically, that the time, energy, and resources that we put into the campaign, into advancing the campaign in the way we want to see it, all the energy is being sucked out, being really affected by this anti-Asian racism towards Andrew Yang, where people don't care about him. Yeah, this is a huge, huge problem. So we really need to get on top of this. And also for people who consider themselves like progressive, like kind of woke left people, man, you guys need to like, when I say you guys, I mean also we, because I'm part of it. Like, you guys need to check yourselves out. Like, I'm talking about like independent outlets like TYT, like Secular Talk, all these channels are progressive. Apparently, Michael Brooks, Jimmy Dore. You guys don't talk about anti-Asian racism. You guys don't actually like really pick it up, and it's like one of the number one thing that's corroding American democracy. And actually, frankly, I don't necessarily see you like really caring about it. And I'm looking at a lot of like progressives, and frankly, a lot of this talk about Andrew Yang being a tech entrepreneur and stuff like that you guys like, that this misinformation goes out around, like Andrew Yang based on like this identity of him being like this businessman who, like, Like Andrew Yang is a nonprofit operator for the last 7 years. That's one of the most important titles. And I think, to be honest, that's a part of like not being able to see him as human, not seeing able to see like it's very weird for people to think that Asian people actually care about other people. That's not something that is actually that is seen of us. So I think the progressive people also need to be really checking on their biases, right? So anyways, that's I'm gonna leave this pretty short. So the three things is like Andrew Yang needs to address this at the top level. How do we know that you're not gonna you're gonna stand up for? If you don't stand up for yourself, how do we trust that you stand up for others, right? Number two, Yang, scrap this idea about identity politics, all this stuff. Like, there's a time and a place for it. I think identity politics can be really corrosive and silly, and and actually not genuine. I see it all the time. That there's some things that we need to like. It's it's about balance, and I think we're massively imbalanced here. We need to call it out as a group of people, and that effort of us to call it out will also hopefully go up to the top of the campaign to say, hey guys, it's safe you to call this out. We have your back on this. Do it. And third, progressives and other general public voters, your democracy is going to shit because of anti-Asian racism not being addressed as one of the major things. Deal with it. Okay, like seriously. Educate yourselves. Check in with yourselves. In particular, again, you don't have to see Andrew Yang as your savior. You don't have to see Andrew Yang as like your candidate, but realize that how you're seeing him might be affected by him being Asian. So you don't believe he's a human being. Imagine if he was a white person with a similar policy plank. Would you maybe see him as more of a human being? You actually might, and really consider that, because all this talk about him being a tech entrepreneur and stuff like that, all the Asian tropes that go with that, like, you have to get real with yourselves. Andrew Yang has operated a nonprofit for the last 7 years. That's one of the most important things he's done. The book that he's written is explicitly about not himself. Every other presidential candidate has written books about themselves. Andrew Yang has written a book about normal people, and he considers himself extremely privileged that he's not part of that, right? So you have to get on board with that. Check yourselves. Anyways, okay. So I'm out. I'm probably gonna go stomp around on the ground and get my frustration out. But thanks for listening, and let's get this thing rolling. This is a call to action.